Hello again. Welcome to the 365 Retirement Podcast with Sam Liang at Rubino and Liang Wealth Partners. My name is Randy Cook. Each week, Sam and I get together and we sit down here and talk through some of the things you might be thinking about and maybe worried about when it comes to your retirement planning. So those are the things we talk about. Sam, how are you doing today?
Doing fantastic. And to your point, there's lots of chatter. We do this every week. I don't know how we find time to talk about the same things over and over, right? But if you think about it, it's really important to make sure that you think about retirement like you think about today's world, today's life, right? It's a long time. It could be 20, 30 years. So you want to make sure you prepare for it. People spend, 10, 20 hours planning for a week's vacation. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, be honest with yourself, how much time do you spend planning for the next phase of your lives? And a lot of people would say, well, yeah, I talked to somebody 3 months before I retired. Well, that's probably the wrong answer. So you want to make sure that you're on top of things and making sure that, you're doing everything possible, humanly possible, to put yourself in the best position possible going forward.
Well, I think that as we look at other people who retire, we wonder, how are they doing? Are they doing all right? Are they bored? Do they have enough money? How are they doing? Did they take the package at work? How did that all go? And we try to learn from other people. So actually, I have a survey here where we can learn from people who are in retirement. They talk to people who have retired, and they said, if you could go back before you retired, while you were in your retirement planning, is there anything that you would do differently? 60% of them said that they would talk more about a steady stream of income, replacing that paycheck in retirement. Not just peeling money off the top of your 401k and not just talking about Social Security, but saying, how do I make a paycheck for myself in retirement? That's probably job number one, Sam.
It's interesting that you said that because when you think about pensions, it's not sexy, right?
Yeah.
Making 20%, 30% on your 401k plan, that's pretty exciting, and that's great to talk about. Mm-hmm. But having something that's like, set it and forget it, which is like a pension, is pretty valuable. I think the word guarantee is a very powerful word. Mm-hmm. And having some guaranteed lifetime income is a very powerful phrase, So I remember back in the day when I first started almost 30 years ago, we were fortunate enough to do some work for folks retiring from Polaroid. Remember Polaroid?
Oh, right? Yeah.
Polaroid instant camera.
Yeah,
so they were right down the street here, a couple of times away in Waltham. That was their North American headquarters. And we were fortunate enough to actually represent this gentleman that was the president of the Polaroid Retirees Club.
Okay.
And a lot of those people at the end didn't take the pension because Polaroid was kind of, on the downslope. Yeah. They were afraid that, hey, they might not be here. What's going to happen to our pension? What if they fold and they go bankrupt? We're going to lose our pension. But if you look back, a lot of those people that took the lump sum, they didn't probably invest it properly. 2008 came along. They lost a fortune of, a good 20, 30, 40% of their net savings. And then they talked to their friends who took the pension. And they're like, we think about it, but every first of the month, we get the checking account replenished.
Yeah.
And it's pretty nice.
Yeah, mailbox money, they call it.
Mailbox
right?
money, yeah. I look at my own folks. My dad retired from the Hong Kong government, and my mom was an elementary school principal, and they both had pensions. Mm-hmm. Again, not extravagant. They didn't have anything to brag about at a cocktail party, how great their portfolio is doing. But they got, as to your point, mailbox money. And I wouldn't say that's the right thing for everybody, but one of the things that I think is important is to, one, figure out how much money you need in retirement, right? It's not about the lump sum. It's about that monthly number. And if you spend, let's say, $7,000 a month, of which $5,000 is what we call essential expenses, maybe mortgage, taxes, health insurance, things that you can't do without. Mm-hmm. And they spend maybe $2,000 a month on, buying clothes and going out to dinner and all those things. Mm-hmm. If you could somehow create a steady stream of income that you don't have to think about, is my portfolio doing well today? If you can create that guaranteed income stream to cover at least your essential expenses, that would just be a great place to start. And that's how people go into retirement, enjoy their time off more and worry less, so
when people come in and you go through that budgetary process, which I'm sure is something that you do as you go through, let's get a feel for what you spend, because we got to know how much we have to figure out here. Do they literally look at you and say, okay, Sam, I'm going to get $5,000 a month, me and the wife with Social Security. I want $10,000 a month. How are we going to come up with $5,000 a month? And what do I have to put into what financial vehicle to get $5,000 a month? Is that how it kind of unfolds?
Unfolds like that all the time. One thing that we use, we have an interactive web-based system that we can plug all your numbers in and essentially come up with what we call your PIN, which is your portfolio income need. Nice. So if you have it's very simple. And to your point, let's say that person said, I would like to have $10,000 a month, but I really need at least $8,000 a month to sort of get by, keep my head above water. And then we plug in the numbers of their guaranteed income sources. Maybe they have a pension, maybe they have Social Security, maybe they have, dividends that they've been getting for the last 30 years. And let's pretend for a second that total number is 6,000. So if the essential expenses is 8 and they are always going to get in 6, let's create a third or a fourth guaranteed income source to give you that $2,000. There's lots of different vehicles that you can use. In our firm, we use a lot of what we call income annuities. It's like essentially creating your own pension. And then you can take the rest of your portfolio and invest it for growth. And if it goes down, nobody likes that, but you're not relying on that money to use when your portfolio is down. So it's really not a one-size-fit-all. What we do and the advice and the counsel that we provide to our clientele is very individual, very customized. But a lot of times people come in and they have what we call different buckets of money. This is designed for income. This is designed for growth. This is designed for, emergencies and my slush fund. And you put it all together, it's like a nice symphony. If you ever been to a symphony, Randy, you go before it starts during practice. It sounds horrible because
they're all warming up and everybody's all over the place.
Sounds terrible. But when the conductor comes in, all of a sudden everything gels.
Tick 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 tick.
Yep, everything gels and it sounds perfect. So this is what a great, build a relationship with a financial professional that specializes in retirement, so they know all the things that you should be concerned about and have a solution to taking care of those things that you're concerned about. And then, build a relationship and really just have a plan going forward.
And when Sam regularly says, this is not your father's retirement, this is new. And the reason it's new is because for years and years, our parents and maybe your brothers, your older brothers and sisters, they had a pension. They worked for a company that provided them a paycheck when they retired. And that's down to about 15% now.
Yeah, if you're lucky,
Yeah, and so that's also, where you have to do it, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. Just what you said. Things are so different today. Only probably 15% of people get guaranteed pensions. 40 years ago, probably 90% of people got guaranteed pensions.
Right.
So that's just one example of how life is just different. If you think about every aspect of your life, it's different. People, those poor people that live in Florida, they're rethinking, hey, maybe I shouldn't live here because I may not have a house next year. Everything is different. So when it comes to retirement planning, I think it's really important to get all of your questions answered, get all of your concerns sort of muddled out and find a solution to. And at the end of the day, working with a qualified financial professional that specializes in retirement planning, I think is really important.
Well, we'll take you on a little tour here because if you go to our website, 365retirement.com, the front page there's a big box that says Start Here. And then you click on that and you'll see Sam. He's got a video and he says, here's our process. And he kind of walks you through
Start here, click there.
Exactly right. And you just kind of walk through it. And really it starts with a phone call. We got to find out, hey, what are you doing? What do you want? How far are you with your retirement planning? When do you want to retire? Those kind of questions come up. And then we kind of figure out, are we a good fit? Can we help you? And that's important.
Absolutely. And to your point, that's a great way to start.
Well, we would love to have that opportunity to talk to you, and let's get you some information about your retirement. You're walking away from a paycheck that you get every 2 weeks. Now what? Well, let's figure out how we can keep those paychecks coming. The income is job number one in retirement. Give us a look at our website, 365retirement.com. Hit the button that says Start Here. That actually opens up a calendar, and you can click on the date, the time that you want to have a conversation. One of our people will reach out to you, and we'll get to it right away. Let's make 2025 the year that you really get a handle on what's going to happen over the next 20, 25, 30 years of your life in retirement. We thank you so much for listening, and we enjoy having you with us every single week. We hope you'll join us next time here on the 365 Retirement Podcast.